Tyler Reddick has already won the Daytona 500. He survived Atlanta with half a car and still won again. Now he is heading to his best track with a chance to do something no modern NASCAR driver has ever done. Can he really make it 3 straight and rewrite the record books at COTA? 2 races into the 2026 Cup Series season, he has already captured the biggest trophy in the sport and backed it up with one of the grittiest wins of his career. The Daytona 500 is always a statement. Following it with another victory at Atlanta turned that statement into a warning. Now he heads to Texas with a chance to open the year with 3 straight wins, something no driver has accomplished in the current era of parity and next-gen machinery. The stage is the DuraMax Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas. For most drivers, COTA is a challenge filled with blind crests, heavy braking zones, and unforgiving runoff areas. For Reddick, it has quietly become his playground. History says this is difficult territory. 5 drivers in Cup Series history have opened a season by winning the first 2 races. None managed to make it 3 in a row. The 3rd race has always been the barrier. The grind of competition, the adjustment from super speedway to intermediate to road course, and the razor-thin margins of the next-gen era usually stop momentum in its tracks. Reddick arrives with momentum that feels different. His season began with triumph at the Daytona 500, the sport's crown jewel. Winning Daytona requires timing, awareness, and nerves of steel. It is chess at 200 miles per hour. Reddick positioned himself perfectly in the closing laps, avoided the chaos that typically defines the final stretch, and executed when it mattered most. That victory alone would have made his February unforgettable, but he did not stop there. At the Auto Trader 400 at EchoPark Speedway, Reddick proved his resilience. Mid-race contact ripped away his right front fender. The damage was obvious. The car looked wounded, the aerodynamics compromised. On a drafting track where airflow is everything, that kind of damage usually spells the end of contention. Instead, he adjusted. He found clean air where he could. He modified his entry angles into the corners. He managed tire wear with patience. Lap after lap, he remained in the fight, and when the race reached its decisive moment, he surged forward. When the checkered flag waved, Reddick crossed the line first again. NASCAR officials inspected the battered number 45 afterward and confirmed it passed post-race inspection without issue. The win stood. The message was clear. This was not luck. This was control under pressure. Now he leads the Cup Series standings by 40 points over his 23XY Racing teammate Bubba Wallace. 40 points after 2 races is a significant margin. It provides flexibility. It allows a driver to chase wins without worrying about immediate points recovery. For Reddick, it represents breathing room in a season that already feels historic. And the 3rd race lines up perfectly. Circuit of the Americas is statistically his best track in the entire Cup Series. Across 5 starts at COTA, Reddick has produced an average finish of 4.6. That number alone is striking. Add to it 2 pole positions, 4 top 5 finishes, and a victory in 2023, and the picture becomes even clearer. He has never finished worse than 9th at this venue. Consistency like that on a road course is rare. COTA is not a simple track. The uphill charge into Turn 1 compresses the field and tempts drivers into over-aggressive moves. The flowing S's demand precision and rhythm. The long back straight into Turn 12 sets up one of the heaviest braking zones on the calendar. Every sector presents risk. Reddick has mastered the rhythm. He understands how to rotate the car without overcooking the rear tires. He knows when to attack corner entry and when to protect his equipment for the long run. His qualifying speed at COTA has also been exceptional, as evidenced by his 2 poles. Track position matters on road courses, especially through the technical sections where dirty air can disrupt balance. Starting near the front simplifies the strategy. Yet this weekend will not be uncontested. Standing in his way is one of the most respected road course racers in the field, Shane van Gisbergen. The former Supercars champion made his NASCAR presence known with his stunning victory on the streets of Chicago in 2023. Since then, he has built a reputation as a specialist whenever the series turns right as well as left. Interestingly, COTA is one of the few major NASCAR road courses that van Gisbergen has not fully conquered. That fact alone adds intrigue. A driver of his caliber will view this as unfinished business. His braking technique is elite. His ability to manage wheel hop and control weight transfer gives him an advantage in technical sections. If anyone can match Reddick corner for corner, it is van Gisbergen. Then there is Connor Zilisch, the rookie sensation. Zilisch enters the Cup Series with a background rich in road racing experience. Youth brings aggression, and aggression can pay dividends at a circuit like COTA. He has already shown flashes of speed that suggest he will not be intimidated by veterans. For Zilisch, defeating Reddick at his strongest track would instantly elevate his standing in the garage. It is the kind of opportunity that can define a rookie season. The broader context makes this weekend even more compelling. NASCAR recently unveiled changes around Turn 6 at Circuit of the Americas aimed at improving racing flow and safety. Adjustments to runoff and track limits may subtly alter racing lines. Even minor modifications can affect braking markers and corner exit trajectories. Drivers will need to adapt quickly during practice and qualifying. Those who recalibrate fastest will gain an early advantage. Reddick's previous success at COTA provides a valuable reference point, but it does not guarantee comfort with the new configuration. Van Gisbergen's international road racing background may help him adapt instinctively. Zilisch's fearless approach could allow him to experiment with unconventional lines. The margin for error remains slim. Still, Reddick's recent form suggests he is prepared for that challenge. The next-gen era has been defined by parity. Teams operate within tightly controlled specifications. Aerodynamic advantages are limited. Mechanical setups are scrutinized. The gap between first and 15th can be measured in tenths of a second. In such an environment, sustained dominance is difficult. Winning 3 straight races to open a season under these conditions would send shockwaves through the sport. It would not merely be a statistical achievement, it would be a psychological one. Competitors would feel the weight of chasing a driver who seems untouchable. Crew chiefs would push strategies further. Drivers might take risks they otherwise would avoid. For 23XI Racing, a third consecutive victory would solidify its status as a powerhouse organization. The team, co-owned by Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan, has steadily built its infrastructure and competitive depth. Reddick's performance would validate that growth. With Wallace also running strong and sitting second in points, the organization could begin shaping the narrative of the 2026 season early. Yet NASCAR history teaches caution. Reddick is not merely defending a points lead. He is confronting history. He is racing against a statistic that has stood untouched despite decades of competition. He is entering his strongest statistical track with the spotlight brighter than ever. The field knows what is at stake. Van Gisbergen sees a road course he wants to claim. Zilisch sees a moment to announce himself. Veterans throughout the garage see a streak that must be stopped before it grows. Circuit of the Americas will once again host one of the most technical and demanding races on the calendar. The long lap distance stretches concentration. Pit strategy becomes layered with tire fall-off and stage breaks. A single mistake in braking can cost multiple positions. Through it all, Tyler Reddick carries the calm of a driver who has already handled chaos twice this season and emerged victorious. 3 races. 3 completely different challenges. One opportunity that no one else has seized in the modern era. When engines fire in Austin, the focus will not only be on lap times or stage points, it will be on the possibility of history unfolding in real time.